Right now, infinite versions of you exist. Versions that rise, versions that fall, versions that live in freedom, versions that die in fear. All of them are real, vibrating in the field at this exact moment. But only one is being broadcast into your life right now. And it's not chosen by luck. It's chosen by you, by your thoughts, by your emotions, by your state. The field is not asking what you want. It only listens to what you broadcast. And most people don't choose at all. They wake up in the same state, feel the same emotions, think the same thoughts, and by doing so, they collapse. The same timeline again and again. This is why the future looks like the past. Not because it has to, but because you are the one repeating it. Most people believe their future is shaped by chance, by effort, or by fate. They think tomorrow is created by what they do tomorrow. But the quantum field doesn't work like that. Your future is being collapsed right now, in this very second, by the signal you are broadcasting. And here is the truth few are willing to face. The majority of people are not consciously choosing their timeline. They are unconsciously recycling it. They wake up in the same state, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, make the same choices. Without realizing it, they are casting the same vote into the field over and over again. This is why life feels like a loop. Why you see the same patterns repeat no matter how much you try to change. It's not because you lack intelligence. It's not because the world is against you. It's because your body is addicted to the old signal. Your nervous system is trained to reproduce yesterday. Your brain repeats more than 90% of its thoughts from the day before, which means most people aren't living new days. They're living copies. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, this time it will be different, only to watch the same outcome unfold again? Different faces, different places, but the same energy underneath, the same disappointment, the same frustration, the same collapse into a timeline you swore you would escape. This is the hidden prison. You are collapsing the same timeline, not because you want it, but because you keep broadcasting it. The field isn't ignoring you, it's obeying you with absolute precision. And until you break the signal, the future has no choice but to look like the past. You see now why life feels like a loop. The same frequency keeps collapsing the same timeline. But here is the mistake almost everyone makes when they finally realize this truth. They believe that awareness alone is enough. They think that just because they can see the loop, they are free from it. But observation without change is the most dangerous trap. The quantum field responds to the observer, but not to a passive observer. It doesn't shift just because you finally notice the prison. It shifts only when you broadcast a new state into it. And most people never do. They learn the language, they understand the theory, they even say the right words out loud, but underneath, their frequency remains exactly the same. This is the error, thinking about a new timeline while still broadcasting the old one. It's like staring at a locked door, repeating, I am free, while never turning the handle. The declaration feels powerful, the intention feels real, but nothing moves because the body is still transmitting the vibration of being trapped. You can say, I choose abundance, but if your chest tightens every time you look at your bank account, the signal is scarcity. You can say, I choose love, but if your nervous system expects rejection, the field hears fear. You can declare, I am free, but if every memory you replay is drenched in doubt, the broadcast is still bondage. The words change. The signal does not, and the field listens only to the signal. This is why so many people spend years chasing transformation, but find themselves collapsing into the same outcomes. They confuse knowledge with embodiment. They mistake motivation for frequency. They collapse the same timeline again and again while convincing themselves they are making progress. The truth is sharp but necessary. If you do not embody the new frequency, the future you desire remains one of the infinite versions of you that exist in the field, but never the one you live. This is the trap, believing you are choosing when in reality you are only watching. You've seen the prison, you've seen the trap. You know now that words and awareness alone don't shift the field. The question becomes, what does? How do you collapse a different future instead of replaying the old one? The answer is not mystery. It is method. There are deliberate ways to tune your signal so the field has no choice but to mirror a new reality. Each one is simple. Each one is direct. But together, they break the cycle and anchor a new timeline. Key 1. Interrupt the repetition. Every timeline survives through repetition. The old self wakes, thinks, feels, and acts in the same rhythm, and the field simply echoes it. To collapse a new timeline, you must interrupt that rhythm, change your environment, break your routine, do something unfamiliar on purpose. When you do, the brain is forced out of autopilot. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the brain rewiring, in real time. In quantum terms, this is a new observation collapsing a new possibility. Even small interruptions, waking up differently, pausing before reacting, speaking a word you've never spoken, are signals to the field. I am not repeating yesterday. Key 2. Embody the new state. Now the field mirrors not what you say you want, but what you embody in the present moment. If you wait for evidence before you change, you are broadcasting waiting, and the field gives you more of it. To collapse a new timeline, you must act as if it is already real. Walk differently, speak differently, feel differently. This is not pretending. This is broadcasting. Identity is the most powerful signal you send, and every I am, or spoken or unspoken, is a command to reality. If you say, I am abundant, but act in fear, the field mirrors fear. If you say, I am free, but breathe like a prisoner, the field mirrors captivity. But when you align your breath, your movement, your words, and your emotions with the chosen self, the field responds instantly. Key 3. Anchor with ritual. The subconscious is the real transmitter, and it doesn't change through ideas. It changes through ritual. This is why ancient traditions used fire, sound, symbols. They understood the subconscious speaks in repetition and symbolism. Write down the old timeline and burn it. Speak the new identity aloud every morning. Visualize the collapse of the old path as you step deliberately into the new one. These rituals may look simple, but they send precise commands to the subconscious. This frequency is finished. This one begins, and once the subconscious accepts the new broadcast, the loop can no longer rebuild itself. Key 4. Sustain the new frequency. The collapse doesn't happen once. It happens continuously. Every choice, every emotion, every thought is a vote that decides which version of you becomes real. This is why people slip back into the old self. They collapse a new timeline for a day, maybe a week, then unconsciously broadcast the old one again. The field doesn't punish this. It simply shifts back. To sustain the new timeline, you must return to it again and again until it becomes natural. Interrupt, embody, ritualize, repeat. Each time you do, the new frequency grows stronger. And once it stabilizes, the old reality dissolves completely. This is the method: not thinking, not wishing, not waiting. Interrupt the repetition. Embody the new self now. Anchor with ritual. Sustain the frequency. Do this, and the field has no choice but to collapse a different future. You've just seen the method. You know how to interrupt the loop, how to embody the new self, how to anchor the frequency, how to sustain it. But here is the truth that most avoid. Knowing the steps is not the same as walking them, and the field doesn't wait for you to decide. It is responding right now. Every second, you are collapsing a timeline. Whether you are conscious of it or not, the choice is being made. There is no pause button. There is no neutral ground. You are transmitting, and reality is obeying. So the question is no longer, do I understand how this works? The question is, how much longer will I allow the old frequency to collapse the same timeline? Think carefully. How many times have you promised yourself that this time would be different? only to collapse back into the same outcome? How many new beginnings have you started, only to watch them end exactly like the last? How many versions of your life have already died in the field because you never chose them in the present? This is not bad luck. This is not fate. This is frequency. And here are 3 truths you cannot escape. First, if you do not change the signal, nothing changes. No matter how many books you read, no matter how many times you say the words, the broadcast always wins. Second, the field is responding in real time, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now, which means right now. You are either collapsing the old reality again, or you are collapsing a new one. Third, power has never been missing. It has always been here, hidden under the static of repetition. But until you stop feeding the old broadcast, it cannot emerge. So ask yourself honestly, how much longer are you going to recycle the same future? How many more days will you wake up as the same version of yourself, collapsing the same outcome into existence? How many more timelines are you willing to lose? Futures that already exist in the field waiting, but never lived because you refuse to choose. The field does not reward delay. Delay is still a signal. Waiting is still a broadcast. Every moment you hesitate, you collapse the timeline of hesitation, and the field simply multiplies it. This is why change feels impossible. Not because it is far away, but because you keep transmitting, not yet, and the field mirrors it with precision. But the moment you shift, the instant you embody the frequency of the new self, the collapse changes. Reality bends immediately. It has no choice, because the observer decides which version becomes real, and the observer is you. There is no middle ground. You either collapse the timeline of the old self, or you collapse the timeline of the new. But one of them is collapsing right now. Right now, as you hear these words, the collapse is already in motion. You may think you are just listening, but the truth is sharper. You are observing, and observation is collapse. Your attention, your awareness, your state, they are all votes being cast into the field in this very second. This is not theory. This is physics. The observer effect proves it. Particles do not exist in fixed form until observed. They exist as infinite probabilities, vibrating in a cloud of potential. And the moment you look, the wave collapses into one outcome. That is what is happening right now. You are collapsing one future while erasing thousands of others. Most people miss this because the shift is subtle. They expect lightning in the sky, fireworks in their mind, some external confirmation that everything has changed. But reality doesn't move with spectacle. It moves with precision. The collapse happens in silence, in the small adjustments of your breath, in the slight shift of your awareness, in the moment you choose to feel differently instead of repeating the old emotion. Notice it now. Your state is not the same as it was minutes ago. The simple act of seeing the loop broke its invisibility. The simple act of recognizing the error weakened its grip. The simple act of holding this awareness means you are no longer the version of yourself who pressed play. That version collapsed the moment you observed differently. Look deeper. Can you feel the fire under your chest? The tension in your body is not fear. It is resistance, the old signal dissolving as the new one begins. The nervous system is recalibrating. The body is preparing to transmit a different frequency. That discomfort you feel is proof that the collapse is real. The loop fights hardest when it is dying, and yet you are not fighting it. You are not pushing. You are not chasing. The collapse doesn't need force. It only needs choice. Right now, by choosing to see, by choosing to observe, by choosing to embody, you are collapsing a new line of reality. Think of it clearly. There are infinite versions of you vibrating in the field. One that continues the same cycle, one that breaks free, one that finds love, one that never does, one that thrives, one that fails. All of them are equally real, but only one becomes flesh. Only one becomes memory. And that one is chosen now. Do you see the weight of this moment? This isn't just a video. This isn't just information. This is the collapse of your future in real time. Every breath you take in this awareness burns one line of probability and strengthens another. Futures are dying and futures are being born right now through you. Hope you have enjoyed it. See you in the next video.